guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
10 plus surprising facts about Croatia. Croatia is an amazing place. Wow, what a quote.
Yeah. Wow.
Ooh, that's Croatia? That looks like UK things.
Europe is one interesting place to find different types of cultures with a unique history and with cultures that have different ideas about how life should work. And with that in mind, when we do dive into Europe, we find that certain countries have history that goes way beyond our current knowledge or even own life experiences. And here today on FTD Facts, we dive into a really amazing country, one that'll surprise even you. And this is the country of Croatia, which is a beautiful and fascinating country to learn about. And like many other great nations around the world, its history has been heavily modified and culture has been modified from other cultures around it. It is a place that...
I wonder what these cakes have to do with Croatia. Like, did they originate in Croatia? Is that like a Croatian thing?
I thought the design was the Croatian, style.
It is surrounded by a perfect climate and has architecture that'll tickle the part of your brain that feels like it's living in some sort of dream. Hey everybody, how's it going?
It's you.
Welcome to FTD Facts. My name is Dave Wobble. Now, here on the channel we talk a lot about people, cultures, and places, and you know what? About different people. Generally, we like what you see, and we know country is all to do a part too. But anyhow, first of all, we're going to start off with the basics. Let's talk about the population. Now, as of the last
Not that. He talks the same things, the same intro.
estimate, Croatia has a population of approximately 4,154,200 people, which makes this country rank at 29th in the world. Of course,
Policija, exactly the same as Lithuania. Spelled Policija.
It has a population of 75.8 people per square kilometer, ranking 126th.
75. In comparison, Germany yesterday had over 200 per square kilometer.
In the world. And of course, these people with this density, they are stretched across a land size of 56,594 kilometers square, ranking 124th. It also has a water...
We saw this yesterday, no, the day before yesterday.
You can't swim
percentage
in
of
it.
approximately
No swimming.
1.09.
No swimming.
Now, Croatia itself, it's got a really, really important history. And as a matter of fact, a history that dates back to the beginning of even all of European times. For example, to figure out what day Croatia was founded is somewhat hard to say. And around the 7th century, the country or region in which the country resides was known more or less as the Duchy of Croats. Of course, after that, there was also the Kingdom of Croatia, which was in 925, and as well, the area had several other names for it. But however, the last major change is when Croatia was a part of what is known as Yugoslavia. A term that you may be familiar with or have heard of your elders talking about in the past. It was formed on December 4th of 1918, just following World War I, in which the Kingdom of Croatia joined with the Kingdom of Serbs and Slovenes. Now, as for Croatia, it separated, getting its independence, thus ending the country of Yugoslavia on June 25th, 1991. And now an independent country with Zagreb ruling as capital, the capital city of the country has a metro population of 1,128,941 people, and is also the fourth...
That's a lot. Basically, a quarter of the country lives in the capital.
Wow.
Biggest city by population in Southeast Europe, and the second largest by land in the same region. So now as we dive a little deeper into this country, we gotta look at money, GDP, and all that sort of stuff. Although Croatia is one of the more recent countries to join the European Union, which was effective on July 1st, 2013, Croatia does not...
Wow, 2013. That's very recent. Yeah, very recent.
She's a new girl.
Use the euro, but in fact uses its own currency called the Croatian kuna. However, when it comes to its GDP, in which we use the purchasing power parity, which is the best way to compare nations, it has a purchasing power parity GDP of $106.54 billion, ranking 84th in the world. Of course, this is based off of the reports from 2016. And of course, within that same year, the per capita came in at $25,807, ranking 56th in the world. But let's move on. Let's take a look at exports because Croatia has got a very well-rounded sort of export and import system. Now, for Croatia, they export approximately $13.5 billion, being 76th in the world. But like I said, their exports, they're not heavily dependent on one sort of thing. Like if you take countries like Saudi Arabia, they have a lot of petroleum in which they are really, really dependent on. Because for Croatia, when it comes to their exports, the biggest ones are refined petroleum, packaged medicaments, electrical transformers, and sawn wood. However, the percentage amount, they roughly sit around like 5 to 2%. There's a lot of other things that they export around.
So yeah, there's not like a clear-cut, clear-cut leader in exports. Okay, that's interesting.
The country. But one of the biggest things that Croatia is known for when it comes to its exports is blue water fish, which gets exported a lot to Japan and Korea. There's also wine, but one of the biggest things that they are known for when it comes to their exports is organic food, which mostly goes to many European nations. However, out of all of this, the industrial sectors of the country...
Yeah, it is interesting wine, because we have seen a lot of wineries in our reactions of Croatia. That's interesting that doesn't kind of dominate. And the fish too, I would think they export a lot of fish, because fishing industry is big, but interesting to know that it's to Korea and Japan, which I feel like also big fishing countries too. So why they import other type of fish? That's so interesting.
Makes up over 25% of the entire GDP, where fishing and agriculture makes up about 5%, so they say. Now, within all the exports, Wait,
what did they say, 25%?
Agriculture makes up about 5% of the entire GDP, where fishing goes to many European nations. However, out of all of this, the industrial sectors of the country makes up over 25% of the entire GDP, where fishing...
So what is industrial sectors? If it's not fishing, I guess like manufacturing and whatnot, plants?
And agriculture makes up about 5%, so they say. Now, within all the exports, a big chunk of it goes to the European Union. And within that union, their biggest individual partner is Slovenia, which makes up about 12% of their export income from that country. Damn. As for imports, though, they import a lot more than they export, with an import level coming in at $22 billion, ranking 59th in the world. As well, their imports are very well balanced. They're not all over the place as well. And some of the biggest ones are cars, crude petroleum, but on top of that, they get a lot of electricity from other nations, packaged medicaments, and of course, human and animal blood. So now that we've looked at money, we've also kind of...
Cars, doesn't Croatia have a Skoda brand? Hold up, I thought it was Croatian car.
And who has the Bugatti?
I don't know, I don't remember. I mean, it may have originated in Croatia, but I don't know if Croatia makes it.
Talked about people, we should ask ourselves, what kind of people live within this country? Well, believe it or not, Croatia is predominantly a Christian country.
Oh, it's Czech, not Croatian. Never mind. I thought it was Croatian.
This is because about 91% of the people identify as being Christian, and within all the people of the country, most of them identify as Croatian, being approximately 90%, while 4.36% identify as Serbian, and about 5.22% identify as being from other countries. And because of that, you may think to yourself, Croatia is not a really blended country when it comes to its multiculturalism. Well, truth be told, it actually is, and it's had a history of that. Now, the reason Croatia could be considered very much a blended country is because people actually classify Croatia as a country of 4 spheres. And the reason for this is because Croatia in ancient times was right dead center of 4 different cultures. Of course, it's been influenced by many others around the world, but these were some of the most important ones. Because if you look at Croatia, you'll notice there is cultural and architectural influences from the West Roman Empire, the Byzantines, the Mediterranean culture, and of course, let's not forget the Mittel Europa culture, in which the influences from this particular culture come from Central Europe, mainly from places like Germany. And because it was just a boiling...
That's very interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, I like this channel. It gives you a little interesting facts.
For all these different cultures, it makes up for some of the coolest buildings and coolest cultural spots that you'll ever see. And I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. Because this next fact is going to be somewhat of a controversial sort of fact. Some people might agree with it. I can see why people say this sort of thing. but let's find out what it is. You guys can decide for yourself. Because although the country is considered a country of 4 spheres, it is also sometimes considered the center of the world. More specifically, a town in Croatia known as Ludbreg. Now, the reason it's considered center of the entire world is because if you were to take the flat map of the world and stretch it out, you would find Ludbreg of Croatia right dead smack in the middle. And because of that reason...
Remember you asked me this question in one of the reactions. Yeah, so I guess that's the answer.
Ludbreg boasts to tourists that it is in fact the center of the world. And because of that, right in the heart of this small little town, right in the middle of an intersection, is a symbol to represent the center of Earth. And of course, you can't argue this, because where is the center of the world? Well, really nowhere. But to be perfectly honest, they've had this title since the 19th century, so...
Yeah, no, I mean, I get the meaning of it. Obviously, there's no center, because the map is just, like, very... Eurocentric map, because Europe is in the middle, but you could easily do like an Asia-centric map where Asia's in the middle, So like, I get it, but given the current like most popular map that we use, they are,
Let's give it to them. And with that in mind, when we talk about it having influences from many different cultures, one of the oldest towns in all of Europe is located within Croatia. And this is the town of Vinkovci, which inhabitants can be traced back to approximately 8,000 years ago. And it is also historic...
8,000 years ago? That's a long ass time ago, wow.
Historically known to be the birthplace of 2 Roman emperors, and that was Valentinian and Valens. As well, it's still known to have some old Roman buildings within the city, and even a Roman thermal bath is still preserved way down below. Now, alright, one of the coolest things that I want to talk about when it comes to Croatia that I learned about is the Zadar organ. Have you guys ever heard of this? It's really quite cool. This is one of the more famous current pieces of architecture that is from the country, as it is not only ingenious, but beautiful. The Zadar sea organ is known as the first real pipe organ that is played by the sea. Located in Zadar, Croatia, which is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Croatia to date, this beautiful city was also voted in 2016 as the best European destination by Europe'sBestDestinations.com. Now, as for the sea organ, it was constructed along the seawall, which even Alfred Hitchcock said,
Florida has a near total...
Can you play though? Like,
with no
I want
real
to hear it
exceptions for
play.
rain, incest...
During the sunset was one of the most beautiful places in the world. And it should be noted that the reason this was created was because if you know Zadar, it is known for its concreted wall, which was built during the reconstruction of this city. And the reason the city needed to be reconstructed is because, unfortunately, during the Second World War, the Allies didn't really have much of a choice but to bomb the entire city. There was no other way around it. And to add to the concrete wall, in 2005, this organ was built and designed by Nikola Basic. As well, it ties into what is known as the Zadar Sun Salutation, or more properly known as the Monument to the Sun, which salutes the sun. This giant pad collects solar energy from the sun, as well as energy from the waves crashing into the sea organ's pipes. And at night, it releases a really cool light show within its 300-layered glass plates.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be something else. I thought it was going to be like...
I think so. I think he does that. He does what you say, like the sound, but also this too. Because this is a solar too. Like it collects solar energy.
It's crazy because the lights within this pad actually react to the sounds that are actually being created from the pipes.
So the pipes do create the sounds.
I want these lights.
Now I want to do a reaction to this separate to see what it's like.
You know what I mean? Like it's like when it goes up, it goes up. When it goes down, it goes down. It's really, really cool. Either way, guys, that is it for me here on it.
No.
Yeah, but that's what I'm telling you. That's why I like this channel, because we always get like these very unique facts that we didn't know before, That's pretty cool.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.